A client starts hammering your API, a runaway script, a retry storm, an AI agent in a loop. You need to push back. But how you say slow down matters. Return a 500, and the client thinks your server is broken and retries harder. Return a 403, and it looks like a permissions problem. The standard answer is 429, too many requests, with a retry-after header that tells the client exactly when to come back. Trellis won't count the requests for you. That's your limiter's job, but it makes the 429 correct, automatically, from one typed error. Here's what not to do. A client floods the endpoint, and you reach for the wrong status. A 500 tells the client your server fell over, so it assumes a transient glitch and retries immediately, making it worse. A 403 says forbidden. Now it looks like an auth problem, and the client gives up or asks the user to log in again. And critically, neither one tells the client when it's allowed to try again, so it just keeps hammering blind. The status code is a message, and these send the wrong one. Here's the standard. When the client is over the limit, you answer 429, too many requests, a status that means exactly one thing. You're sending too many, slow down. And you pair it with a retry-after header, 60. That's the whole point. The server tells the client precisely how long to wait, so a well-behaved client backs off for exactly 60 seconds instead of guessing. The body is a standard problem details, kind too many requests, with a human-readable detail. Clear status, clear timing, no ambiguity. And here's how little you write. You decide the limit is hit, maybe a quota check in your handler, maybe ASP.NET Core's built-in rate limiter, and you return one error, Error.RateLimited, carrying a RetryAdvice that says, try again after 60 seconds. Hand it to ToHttpResponse, and Trellis does the rest. It maps rate limited to a 429. That mapping is built in, zero config, and it emits the retry-after header automatically, straight from the RetryAdvice. You never touch the status code or the header by hand. Trellis is the translation layer. Your limiter decides when. Trellis says it correctly. So standard backpressure gives you three things. 1. A 429, the single status that means slow down, not a server bug, not an authorization failure, so the client reacts correctly. 2. A retry-advice on the rate-limited error becomes a retry-after header automatically. Give it a relative after in seconds or an absolute at date, and Trellis emits the right form. 3. Trellis maps the error and emits the header, but it doesn't count requests. Your rate limiter, or ASP.NET Cores, decides when the limit is hit. Trellis is the translation layer that makes the answer correct every time. Rate limiting is a contract, not a failure, and the contract is a 429 with a retry-after that says exactly when to come back. Your limiter decides when. Trellis turns one typed error into the correct, automatic response. Next, the finale. We tie every RFC in this series back to one idea. The principle of least astonishment, building APIs that behave exactly the way callers expect. Subscribe, and I'll see you there.